Hey, welcome back to Two Doctors Homestead. My name's Daniel, and this is five books you should have for preppers, survivalists, if you're into outdoors, self-sufficiency, or anything like that. Five books you should have, and this is our third video in this series, right? And the first thing I want to pull out is the Survival Medicine Handbook. Joseph Alton, Amy Alton, right, did a great job just giving a ton of awesome first aid advice, and maybe a little bit more than that even. You have things like asthma, and I'm just going to flip pages. Cholera, you don't know, you might be interested in cholera. Dysentery, if you've ever played Oregon Trail, certainly dysentery was a big deal if you're half as old as I am. How to deal with snake bites, right? This book could save your life many times over. Certainly a good book to think about. It's in natural disasters, epidemics, and civil unrest. The ambulance might not be heading your direction when needed, right? So y'all know someday, right, someday something horrible like that could happen, but even if it doesn't, it's a good idea to have an investment in some decent books, and certainly this is one of them. You can skim through it, get a feel for what's in it. Great people that wrote it, great book, right? So first one is Survival Medicine Handbook, the essential guide for when help is not on the way. Right, next book I wanted to throw out is Rosemary Gladstar's Medicinal Herbs. It sort of goes along with the first book, but it gets into the medicinal herbs. If you're in a situation where there may not be the medicines you need, antibiotics you need, whatever that is. You hear about shortages all the time, or you just want to try some alternative medicine. This is an amazing book for that. A lot of great illustrations, how to grow, how to harvest, how to process. First thing you got here, aloe comfrey arthritis gel, right? So it gets into aloe vera, what the plant is, tells you about it, medicinal uses, how to grow it, how to make your aloe vera gel. So a lot of awesome information. You got dandelion, just flipping through it here, hawthorn, lavender, lemon balm. So always pictures, how to identify the plants, how to harvest the plants, how to grow and process the plants, ginger, garlic, it's all in here. So I think this is an excellent complement to the Survival Medicine Handbook, is medicinal herbs. If nothing else, get into it, read about it, learn about them. You may already have them in your area, or you might be interested in trying to grow them, and this will get you where you need to go. And the next one I think is often overlooked by a lot of people, which is Emergency Dentistry Handbook, right? This is providing dental care in disaster areas, combat zones, and other austere environments by Met Clark. This is a great little book, not super long, and certainly, once again, you wouldn't want to do emergency dentistry on yourself unless you have to, right? Your first, second, third choice is to go to the dentist, but if for some reason you're in a situation where you cannot, something like this could make a big difference. It's got procedures, dental examinations, thermal tests, examining teeth, draining tooth abscesses, all sorts of stuff you never want to have to do, and hopefully you would never need to do. But the book itself is interesting, has a lot of good information. It's not a huge book, but I guess you only need to know so much when you're talking about your teeth, how to deal with trauma, all sorts of stuff. So highly recommend it. It's a quick read, it's a good read. Met Clark, Emergency Dentistry Handbook. Definitely check think about having it in your preparedness library. The next book you might want to look at, First Aid Companion for Dogs and Cats. You got yourself covered for first aid. Understand cats and dogs are not always the same, right? So there's a lot of really good guidance and information in here, right? Heat stroke. Should you call your vet? Call your vet immediately. It talks about what heat stroke is, right? How to identify heat stroke and what to do. Types of first aid. Give them an ice pack. Let them drink cold water. Watch for shock. Be prepared to give CPR if you've thought about giving your dogs or cats CPR. How to treat moderate heat stroke. Special situations. Follow-up care. Best approach, right? So it goes through one after another. Hives, different conditions, hot spots, how to treat it. right? And you might think, oh, I can do first aid myself, I can do first aid on my dogs or my cats, but maybe not, right? Hypothermia, you can't always just expect to be able to Google everything, and that's where these old books come into play. Diarrhea, how to treat diarrhea in your pets, and is it the kind of thing you need to call a vet on? First thing it says, okay, call a vet if needed, right? So your pet has diarrhea, maybe you don't need to call a vet. Certainly read the chapter, use your best judgment. We all love our pets, certainly I do. And you want to give them the best care. Pneumonia, right? So this is a great book to get into, to have in your library. Amy Sojoy, First Aid Companion for Dogs and Cats, Preventative Pets, right? Excellent book, highly recommended. Great illustrations, a ton of good information. It's well organized. The last of the 5 books, so this is book number 5. We talked about care for yourself, herbal medicines, dental care, first aid for dogs and cats. What about your chickens? And if you don't have chickens, maybe you can take a pass on this one, but once again, it's another great book to understand your chickens if you have chickens, and how to care for them. And you even have little basic stuff like, hey, here are the parts of a chicken, right? Some of their behavioral stuff, how they settle down for the night, chicken behavior, potential critters in the chicken feed, right? And it's a good book, I think, to read. Certainly skim through if you have chickens, but then have it for emergency reference. Keeping the chicken flock clean and comfortable, right? It's more than just, say, chicken first aid, it's chicken health. Right, keep the flock clean, recognize signs of chicken illness, a lot of great information. I know you're thinking, I'll just Google it, no big deal. Well, you can't always rely on Google, and I think having this, even if you don't read it cover to cover, as soon as you get it, skim through it and understand what's in it, and then you can come back to it and be like, hey, recognizing signs of general illness. You know what, I think I remember that. The chicken's head is hanging down, eyes are slightly or completely closed. What's going on? And at least you have that in your reference library that you can pull out. So again, you can't always trust Google is going to be there and have the best information. At least you know this is from a creditable source and not just somebody out there writing a blog or something like that, or repeating some bad information they had dealing with chicken diarrhea. We seem to be random drawing a lot of diarrhea stuff here. I hope that's not foreshadowing eyeing nutritional disorders. So a lot of great information. Once again, good book, Chicken Health for Dummies. Julia Gauther, DVM, MPH, DIPL, ACDVBM, and Rod Lublow. Hopefully you can see that. Highly recommend the book. I think it's, once again, well organized, has a ton of great information in it, diagrams, and a good index. So I hope you like those 5 books. 5 books for preppers, for survivalists, for homesteaders, people with chickens, cats, and dogs. If you got teeth, you might be interested in things like dental first aid, herbal remedies, and of course the first aid for yourself and your loved ones. So thank you for watching. I hope that helps, and we appreciate you.